it's Shelia. It's morning. It's Shelia of the Sunshine Stitchers, and this is my year 2025. What have I been working on? What I will be working on in the new year 2026. This is the time to go to the bathroom, get something nice to drink, get a good stitchy project to work on, because this is going to take a while. There's a lot to show. There are over 60 WIPs, I believe. And so let's get going so we don't drag this out any longer than we need to. So what I'm going to do, there's no order here, except that I'm going to try to hit my largest, more cumbersome presentation pieces first. Other than that, I have a pile, and EJ hopefully will show a picture, but hopefully I can do this without disrupting you too much. I have a pile of projects to show you this morning. So I think I managed to do that without too much. There we go. Yeah. Oops, sorry. I guess that wasn't a good idea. There we go. Without too much discombobulation. It's another big word. Sorry. I love big words, as you well know. Okay, so the first one I'm going to show you today is the Janette Irving sampler, which is a reproduction by Jean Farish. It is a family sampler. Janette Irving is a distant relative of hers. And this is what it will eventually look like. Now, Janette Irving put in initials, and you will see my assistant because he is destined to help me this morning. Oh, hold on a second. That didn't take long, did it, Joe Robinette? I barely got 10 words out. No, get off. Move, move, move. Keep moving, keep moving. Thank you, thank you. He had to stand right on this piece. So Janette Irving included the initials of her family members in it. And I am replacing her family members with my family. And I will also replace the name Janette Irving down there with probably something to denote my family as well. Jean Farish said, yeah, go ahead, do it. Make it yours, personalize it. So I'm taking her up on that. This is on a 30 count legacy linen mariner's map. I'm using the Cosmo threads, and this was started in a class that I took February 2020, literally just before lockdown. That was sponsored by the Cross Stitch Cupboard. And here is Janette Irving. I've worked down to where I'm starting to chart the initials of family members, and I will start to put those in. There it is. That's a better view. There it goes. Okay, now I can put that aside. The next one I'm going to show you is the piece that I've been working on for a little bit. Here it is. This is This Juneteenth Day by Shaded Stitchery Designs. I am working this on a 32 count cashmere by We Will Die For You. The needle minder is from Rebel Stitcher, and I have one also from Vicky Stitch and Button. And I started this in June 2023. Now, for those of you who may not, this is on a Hearthside Crafts, thank you, lap stand sold through Evertote in Canada. And I'm showing it to you early because it's a little cumbersome to handle by myself. There you go. Whoops. Not for stitching. It's fabulous for stitching. I have to say, this is fabulous for stitching. So I started in the middle and I'm working down. I have put in my initials. And this was a piece that I could not work on for a while because I had misplaced the project bag, and it turns out it's a small project bag, probably not too much bigger than this, and I had gotten lost in my stack of project bags. So this is it, and I am working down in this area. All right, let me put this, so there we go. So those are the two most cumbersome pieces to show you this morning. I'm going to work on those I'm working on right now because I'll be showing them again in our video this week. Now, I failed to mention that I am filming this early in November because I will be away for part of December, and with the holidays, take a holiday break. So EJ and I have developed a schedule that will give you some new and fresh content. He'll settle in a minute. New and fresh content, and give us some time off for the holidays. This is, I didn't take the card out. Sorry. This is Ink Circles Garden of Zigg. I'm working this on 32 count. I don't know what the fabric is. And I'm using the Cottage Garden threads. She does include a DMC conversion. And I started from the top, and I'm pretty much working on the first page. So this is about half of the first page, or maybe 2/3 of the first page. This is so much fun, such a joy to work with. As I show you these, I will be putting them in project bags because otherwise there would be a totally uncontrollable disaster here. One of my oldest WIPs, in fact, this is my oldest WIP. This is Neige et Montagne. And this I started, oh, I do have a board for it. This I started in 2000, really, Joe? Find a spot, not that spot, but any other spot. This I started in 2017, so it is officially my oldest WIP. It's so old that although I do protect my originals, I was having a lot of trouble, starting to have trouble with reading the symbols. So I just purchased the PDF version of it. EJ helped me load it into Pattern Keeper, and I'm telling you, game-changing experience, totally. And I don't have my piece of paper. I don't know what my board is for this. And I am working, it's in the Q-snap because it is my WIP go for November. I am currently, okay, let's do this. Here we go. This, I'm working on the top portion of it, the window panes leading to the outside scene. I have a lot of trees and mountains to do, but my goal for 2025 is to complete the top portion of the window pane because it, in my opinion, is the most intensive of stitching. Even though I started this in 2017, it was put down for a while. I don't enjoy, there's a lot of people, confetti. And when I got overwhelmed by it, I just simply stopped working on it. But I love it. I love the chart. I really do enjoy working on it. Now you saw me take the thing off, right? Oh, there it is. I really do enjoy working on it, so I will be finished. I don't know. I want to try to finish it in 2026. There's a lot down there at the bottom. Again, heavily shaded, but a little bit brighter colors, not all browns and beiges. That I think was the other part too. This is my stitching box by Janette Douglas. One of the things you'll notice, I do like a lot of collaborations and series or multi-piece sets of things. So this is my stitching box by Janette Douglas Designs. It's on 32 count Lakeside exemplar, light. And I had purchased the accessory and fiber pack when I bought the chart. And I bought the box when I visited In Stitches at Dying to Stitch. So, and I started this in April of 2024. And, well, that's not it. I have all the cut fabric for all of the pieces here. Here it is. I'm working on the top, the center top of the box. And I've come a long, long way. Long, long way. I have to finish the border. And there's a couple of large, well, there's a lot to do. I take that back. I have a lot to do. So that's the top box section. I'm working here. That's what this is right there. My assistant is right here, but he seems to have found a spot that he's comfortable with, and he has hopefully settled in. I apologize for the zippers, but again, I really need to avoid a total catastrophe. My one Tumbling Rose is my other WIP go for November. This is Rosewood Manor. This is on a 32 count even weave in white, and I'm using the called for Valdani silk, which I am enjoying using, I must say. I like to work with a lot of different floss, and this was started and I had finished a big chunk of it until I realized I was using the wrong piece of fabric. When I cut the fabric, I took the leftover and started stitching on it instead of using the, this is, okay, this will work. Using the correct size. So I had to restart it. So this is Tumbling. This is just beautiful. The reds and the greens on it. I'm really enjoying stitching on this. No, you don't need to come help. Yes, I know. I know. This is absolutely fascinating. Yes, I can tell. Okay, into the pile. This is a series that I started, I'm not sure when, but it was an exclusive to the Inspired Needle when they were still in Illinois, so it's been a while. Oh, there are my scissors. I was looking for those. Got caught on the needle minder and put away. This is the French Kitchen series, and I am working on Myrtille et Thym, Myrtle, it's blueberry and thyme. This is the piece, so this is a collaboration with Summer House Stitch Works and Hands On Design. This piece was charted by Summer House Stitch Works. As an exclusive, it was sent to me kitted, I think once every couple of months or so. There are 4 pieces and then a centerpiece for a box that you could put them in. And we got this paddle, this brown paddle to put them on. So each month you got little finishing things, the floss and the fabric. So The fabric is 32 count Friendship Green, fabrics by Stephanie. I'm using the call for over dyes. And, oh, this is on a, oh geez, well, you can see, yeah. I have finished the top and I'm working down to the bottom. So I am just finished the bowl here for blueberries. I'm working on the blueberry vine here. I don't think that's finished, but there's 2 flower pots that sit over here and then a bottom border. So I've finished this and I've got these 2 things here and come down. So this will definitely be a 2026, this little piece will be a fairly first quarter, I would say, 2026 finish. I still have to do the box cover, and this is the last of the smaller pieces. And yeah, so I'm making great progress on this. This is a recent start. This is by the Artsy Housewife. It's called Lovely Dove. Lovely Dove. I'm using a 40 count antique ivory. I'm using the call for overdyed, and I purchased this at Acorns and Threads in August of 2024 when I traveled. I was headed to Seattle to pick up a cruise, an Alaska cruise, and took a side trip to Portland, Oregon. Hey, listen, once you get west, you got to do it all. And this was a stitchy trip with a bunch of stitchy friends. And several of us went to Acorns and Threads first because we've always wanted to go and wanted to see it. So this is as far as I've gotten with it. So the piece goes, you see, sideways across the top. So that's where I am. Very nice, very pretty, thoroughly enjoying that. And again, I purchased it in August 2024, but I didn't start. Oh, did I start it there? I don't remember. Maybe I may have started with those green leaves there. Honestly, I don't remember. Okay, so you'll go over here. If you will just settle, you're in your favorite chair. So when EJ is not here, I keep a pillow in the chair that she sits in because it is actually Joe's favorite chair, and it just helps control the amount of cat hair. I moved the pillow, so he is now very happily getting ready to go to sleep in his favorite chair. This is Hands-On Design. Meow. There's a block party, Meow. Those of you who are new, I have 2 cats, one of whom you saw. The other one is outside enjoying the beautiful day we have today. This was, again, a part of a kind of a group that she did, her blocks. Each block had a theme, and I like the one with cats. I am using several conversions. What is this on? This is on Craftsman Studio Pastel Linen in Pistachio on 28 count. And that's where I am. I'm doing the part that goes around the side. I've been working on this for a while. I still have a little bit to go, but it's one of those pieces I just pick up every now and then and just simply enjoy working on it. When this gets done is when it gets done. as many of you know, I am a process stitcher. I love the journey, most of the experience. Every now and then, we have something that's not very enjoyable. Those damn crescent hearts. Okay, let's just go up here and tackle this. This is another grouping of 3 pieces by Hands-On. Did I start this? By Hands-On Design. Some of my things no, I haven't started it yet. Okay, so that's going to be a 2026 start. I might as well show it to you. I have the Flamingo Bells series by Hands-On Design. I am going to, this is something that's been kitted for a while. This should have been in, yeah, sorry about that. This is kitted. It was in the wrong spot. Let me put this aside. Special pile. There may be a couple more things that show up like that. Okay. This is another one. What did I do? I think I grabbed a bunch of pieces that didn't need to be in this pile. Okay. I've definitely started this. This is Crowther, one of my Black Girl pieces. This was reproduced by Works by ABC. And those of you who watch us regularly know that our 2026 SAL is Works by ABC, Arlene Cohen, Elegant Lace. This is Crowther. This is a Black Girl sampler that she reproduced. Crowther, 1833. And Crowther was a liberated African girl, 12 years old. I'm using Roxy Flosstube Billie Jean as the fabric. I'm using the call for DMC. And I've done quite a bit of work on Anne. Anne is a joy. There is Crowther. So I'm working from the top down. So I've worked the top border and I'm coming down those beautiful, colorful bands at the top. They almost look like rickrack, a colorful rickrack. The next band, you may not be able to see it in the picture, but it's a yellow band. And I think the yellow will show up nicely on this fabric. So that's Crowther, 1833. We have Maximum Cross Stitch, September's Revenge. This was a sampler September piece. I think it might have been one of the first sampler September pieces that Maximum Cross Stitch and Evertote did. I'm looking for my board. And where's the piece? The piece is on. Okay, so the piece is, oh, okay, I'll have to show you another time because I forgot. I have this on a scroll rod and I didn't pick up that scroll rod. Or no, I didn't, I lied. It's not on a scroll rod, it was just buried. It was on a scroll rod, I took it off because I was taking it somewhere to work on. Okay. September's Revenge. I am working on, do I have that up right side? Yes. I'm working on the house. and some of the vines that comes in. And I think I forgot to show you the picture, but I'll show you the picture. Here's the picture of September's Revenge, and this is on Evertote. It was a sampler September for 2023. I'm working it on 28 count Panettone by Roxy Flossco, and I'm using Roxy Flossco floss. So you can see where I've got the house in, and I'm sort of working around. I've started working into this blue flower, and I've got some of the letters in there. And I'm in an Evertote project bag, so just to refresh your memory. The house, the start of that big blue flower, and some leaves and vines, and some letters. Looks like I was holding that in my hand, doesn't it? I'm not a hand stitcher. I use everything: Q-snaps, hoops, scroller bars, scroll rods. You name it, I use it. Oh, this is Around Britain by JBW Designs. This has been a travel piece. And this is where I am. And here is the picture. So I have worked, there we go. You can see I'm working in this quadrant here. This was a piece that I also managed to misplace for a bit and then found it in something, I don't know what. This is a project bag by Barefoot Needle Arts. This is Pretty Little Washington, D.C. By Satsuma Street. This is on 36 count Eccentric Sky by Fortnite Fabrics, and I'm using the called for DMC. And I have finished the Washington Monument, the Capitol, and one of either the Jefferson or Lincoln Memorial. I can't tell which. I've got some cherry blossom trees down there. So Pretty Little Washington, D.C. I was born and raised in Washington, D.C. And it's a really cool place to have been brought up, because you are brought up amongst all of the different monuments, a lot of the history of this country, a lot of things around which to be proud of this country and our evolution. And so I have a huge desire that we will one day return to that. This is AC Bluebird Quaker Sampler by Sassafras Samplers. Sassafras Samplers is the design and production arm of Sassy Jack Stitchery. I started this in July 2019 when I visited the original store. It is on a 35 count lamb's wool, and I'm using the cotton overdyes. And unfortunately, the reason there's this line drawn down here, because unfortunately, when I started it in the store, I started it with the fabric going in the wrong direction. So I won't be able to do anything below this line that I drew. But one of the things that captured my attention about this piece are the upside down letters. Well, she's got letters going in every which direction you can imagine. This side, they go face the left, they face the right, they face upside down. And there are some upside down letters in this section here that I'm going to move up. She also repeated letters. So where there are repeated letters, I'm going to replace them with some of these upside down letters because I still want to capture that in the piece. Now, some of you may be wondering why some of these don't look like there's a lot done, even though I've been working on it for a long time. I have a daily rotation. I work on a different piece every day. If I work on the same piece 3 consecutive days, I'm ready to go running out into the middle of the highway. I like the change. I like the difference in the challenges each piece brings. So some days I get a lot of stitching done. I mean, there's some days when I can start stitching at 8 o'clock in the morning. I either have no housework or choosing not to do housework. Those are days when I'm disconnecting from the outside world. And so I can get a lot of that done. And then I have days when if I get 10 stitches in, because it's just been that kind of day, busy day. So here is AC Bluebird. This is just gorgeous. I have come down to the bottom left side as far as I can go. And now I'm working, I'm going to work across the top. And again, this piece should have been stitched this way. So, and AC Bluebird again, so you can see. So, but I am not giving up. Will be a little truncated, but I'm enjoying it nevertheless. Again, if you're new to our channel, or seeing this for the first time because you love a WIP parade, I don't like to frog. If I can fudge, I will fudge. Something like that where I started stitching with the fabric going in the wrong direction, I will make it work. I believe in moving forward, always move forward. I will not spend a lot of time doing something over and over again. I'll try to get it as right as I can. And I'm happy with that. I figure I'm a very flawed person, so my stitching can represent me, very flawed. This is, well, first let me show you the picture. This is City Lights by Boomerang Stitches. I'm doing this with a stitch along, in a stitch along. Sal with Karen, the Stitching Owl. If you have never watched her, please watch the Stitching Owl on YouTube. City Lights is being done on a 32 count antique white Zweigart, and I'm using the Roxy Floss Co. conversion, which I purchased through Evertote. And I started this October 2025. I wanted to do this on white because let me show you this way. Anywhere in here that you see white, and it's clearly a part of the design, that's why I wanted to stitch it on white fabric, because that's not stitched. Those aren't stitches, that's fabric. So this is my progress on City Lights. So you can see I have the lamp and the lamp pole almost done. I've got the edge of the building, and now I'll come back and continue the building in here, and then I'll come across the top. Again, just so that you can see where I am and where I'm going. If you are not familiar with Boomerang Stitches, please check her out. She does have an Etsy store, I believe. And you can also buy her patterns in local needlework stores. Please support your brick and mortar needlework store. My local needlework store is the Cross Stitch Cupboard in Fort Lauderdale / Woodland Manors, Florida. I live in South Florida, if you don't know. Shaded Stitchery Designs. I have clearly favorite designers. You will see a lot of from certain designers. This is Taking Up Space by Shaded Stitchery. This is on 32 count Abecedarian by R&R Reproductions. And I am using the DMC because her pieces are so colorful, so graphically gorgeous and beautiful that I don't want to mess with her color choices at all. And here I am on Taking Up Space. The richness, the colors in this are just magnificent. Somebody commented that she thinks I missed something somewhere. You know, when I pick it up again and I'm looking at it to see where I'm stitching, what I need to do, I'll take a look at that. If it's something that I've stitched and I've used the wrong color or something, it will be the wrong color. Okay. Oh, Shaded Stitchery. I just finished a month of Shaded Stitchery, so a lot of hers are going to be bunched together. When I put them back, I will spread them around a little bit. This is Closely Kept number 2. She has, I think, 5 of these now. These are taken from old picture frames. They're kind of like designs that they used to put in the frame. And if you've seen any antique picture frames, the kind that close and open, and you may have a picture here and a picture here, or have a picture and maybe something over there, and they just sort of stand like that. So that's what this is. And she offers 2 versions, like a full cross and an Assisi version of the design. This is, I'm doing this using the Floss is Sulky Black. I bought a piece of banding with I loved the trim on it when I was at Acorns and Threads. And I started this October 2024. And here's my progress on it. And again, this is what it looks like. I'm using I think I'm doing I don't know which version I'm doing. There we go. So I finished one half and I'm about halfway done with the second half, and I'm going to do the companion piece over here. Closely Kept number 2. I have a couple of other of the Closely Kepts that will also do. Okay, this is ink circles. What is this, ink circles? I haven't started these. I shouldn't have pulled that. Yeah, I guess I got crazy. Yeah, oh, I know what happened. I pulled stuff out of a bin, and I think those were in the bin. I need to pull those out of the bin. Okay, this is, I call this the chart that EJ made me buy. We were at Galleria, and we were in the room with Ori TM, and EJ saw this piece and said, "Oh, you have to do this." So this is the piece that EJ made me buy. This is done on 28 count Zweigart Jobelin in white. And as you can see, it's called Strength Quaker Style. I am using DMC colors 825 and 680. So you can see it's primarily one color, but with a little kind of a gold in there. And there we go. That is like so cool. So cool. I mean, yeah. I'm enjoying that. It took me a while to start it. And so not only did I buy, so I have a cone, a small cone of the blue, so I will have no worries of running out. When I was there, I bought some things that went along with it. I got some floss tags from ORATM. There's a card, a project card. I just bought all the things while I was there. Oops. I actually keep the Q-snap that I'm using with it because I'm using, I believe, a 14 by 8 Q-snap with that. Put that down there. Okay. This was also in that bin. Oh no, did I start it? No, this was also in that bin. Uh-oh, this is a kitted but not started. Sorry, EJ. I seem to have overlooked a bin of kitted but not started. Okay, don't. He is down here asleep in this chair. So I had moved this chair so that I could put things on it as I finished showing them to you, but I no longer have that chair. And it looks like EJ, you're gonna have to really roller the seat cushion when you come. This is a common thread, Janette Douglas design. And I've definitely started this one. This is so small. It's so teeny. This is the common thread by Janette Douglas Designs. And again, if you're new here, I love a good specialty stitch. I learned specialty stitches almost at the same time that I learned how to cross stitch. And so for me, specialty stitches have always been a part of the hobby. It's cross stitch. It's what you do. So I do look for pieces that offer opportunities to use specialty stitches. This is on a 32 count platinum, picture this plus. I purchased the accessory pack. Janette Douglas's accessory packs for her pieces usually include floss, beads, and other kinds of things with it. And this is so small. It's upside down. So this is where I am on it. Started in the left-hand corner. So I have been working in this space right in here. I'm now working this motif here. So there's where I am. I started this one June 2023. it looks so teeny. I'll put that in there too. All right. I had a big pile that looked like it would topple, so that's the pile that I'm working on now. This is modern folk embroidery. Modern folk embroidery. I brought the phone over so I could silence it if it rang. The Zimmerman coverlet. This was done in collaboration with Ellen Reed, who is also Maximum Cross Stitch. And the coverlet is a family heirloom for Ellen Reed. When it was first published, the proceeds went to support towards domestic violence. I believe a center in Canada, and I used to manage a domestic violence shelter here in South Florida. So this is something that's very close to my heart, and I believe in supporting how I can. This is on 36 count alabaster by R&R Reproductions. I'm using Silks for You PR146. However, I'm not doing it monochrome. I wanted to make it joyful and hopeful. And so I'm using bright spring colors on it. And I always have trouble with here it is. I'm using bright colors on it. Particularly you only see a little bit of it, but the purple, because purple is kind of the color that we've always used in domestic violence. Kind of, you know how you have colors for things. So I decided to make mine like, you know, not the hope springs eternal kind of thing, but more like today is a good day, brightness, you know, create a future of brightness for moving forward, moving past. Okay. Autumn Garden, Samplers Not Forgotten. This is another piece. Is this one of my oldies? I actually have a list of oldies here. Yes, Autumn Garden is amongst my oldest WIPs. So far, my oldest WIPs, AC Bluebird is old. Something else I showed you was old. See, you haven't seen many others yet. Janette Irving, Pretty Little DC, Tumbling Rose, and the Zimmerman coverlet. Those are amongst my oldest WIPs. And those are all going to be on my WIP Go board in 2026, trying to get them to a finish or move towards a finish. A couple of them are definitely more than a 1 year deal. This is Autumn Garden, Samplers Not Forgotten, 32 count, I don't know. And I'm using the Call for Gentle Arts threads. There it is. And I'm almost done with this. Look, I'm almost done. I'm down there at the bottom. The section at the bottom is pretty much all specialty stitches. So I'm just working my way across, but I'm almost there. So this is definitely a 2026 finish. I should make a little note. Oh, the pen fell on the floor. It had some help getting to the floor. I heard it fall. So I won't be making a note. But this will be a 2026 finish, particularly since it will be on the WIP Go board. So my WIP Go boards, I give each piece 3 days. 3 days is more than I'll need for this, but in addition to other times that I work on it, there will be at least three days in a month. we have Blue Rhapsody, which is not one of my oldest WIPs. I thought it was, but it's not. This is Rosewood Manor, Blue Rhapsody, 32 count antique white in Zweigart, by Zweigart. I am using two colors, navy and sky, which were the called for. And I started this, this was a birthday start in 2023. And I've worked the butterfly in the corner. I don't think I picked this up that much. I really do need to get cracking on this. This is one of my fun pieces. This is Dirty Annie's Southern Style, Deja Vu. And it says, Deja Vu, a feeling that one has seen or heard this crap before. I am stitching this on Fabrics by Stephanie Ivy. Is that what it's called? I restarted this at a retreat I went to. And I don't have the card with the fabric name on it. Did I write it down somewhere? Try not to show you the chart. Oh, but it is Fabric by Stephanie because I purchased the fabric at the retreat to replace what I was using because I was struggling with, so this was a restart at the retreat. And I actually got much further than I was. But I need to get back to this. This is fun. This is just a very fun piece. So, and I plan to switch out the word crap for another word, and I plan to stitch that in red. This is another artsy housewife. Okay, I was beginning to wonder if I had started that. Okay, artsy housewife. I think I started this somewhere. I started this in June when we visited Hobby House. This is on 28 count stone linen, which is by Hobby House Dye Company. And, oh, I need to keep this out because I want to work on this again before the end of the year. And that's how much I got done when we were at Hobby House. Oh, I didn't show you the picture. The reason it threw me because it's not, I don't have my cardboard with my information on the back. The floss is not on a floss ring. You know, I haven't done my usual prep on it. So this is what it will look like. Summer solstice, artsy housewife. And I've come across the top. I don't think that's the whole top, but a good chunk of it. It was a fun, easy stitch. And I believe when I pick it up, I've got to double check this end here because I think I've got an error there. And I think that's when I thought it was probably a good stopping point. Regroup. So yes, okay. I think I got this bag there too at Hobby House. Yes, I did. I bought the project bag at Hobby House as well. This is a piece that I started when I visited Dying to Stitch, cross stitch store in Virginia. I like visiting local needlework stores when I travel. This I visited April 2023. This is Little Robin Designs, a sampler in blue and green. It's on 30 count Mariner's Map, which is a legacy linen, and I'm using the called for Gentle Arts and Classic Colorworks threads. And I've come a long way. This too could be a 2026 finish because, here's the piece. You see, like there's this down here and then that, and I'm really down to, oh no, I'm not. I have the bottom section to do, but I also need to come across the rest of the rows. I guess I got quite a bit to do, but this still could be a 2026 finish with a little bit of focus. It's not going to be on the WIP Go board, but it's fun. Alrighty. Little Robin Designs, a sampler in blue and green. My bag, dying to stitch, yes. So when I visit a local needlework store, I like to fully kit a project. And if I'm going to be there for any length of time, I like to start it when I'm there. And I have a little dying to stitch thing on my thing. I was I'm gonna have to start a new pile. I don't know that that's gonna make it much longer. Okay, hold on. There we go. Dragonfly Quaker by Yasmin's Made with Love. This is on 28 count. On a 28 count Lugano in pistachio, and I'm using the DMC, which is what it was charted in. I love dragonflies. I love watching dragonflies. They're really interesting to watch. And, okay, let's put this up against something because it's not gonna hold up. Here's where I am. So I'm working from the upper left corner. And I will say, this diagonal, when I first started, it gave me fits. It's easy, but I can't count. But it's nice. It's nice. Yasmin's Made with Love. I've got all the colors. Yeah, see, it's going to be very pretty. This I started one day. I went into the cross-stitch cupboard to either buy something real quick or I don't know, whatever. But when I walked in, there were a couple of my stitchy friends sitting at the community table stitching. And I was not in any great hurry. Now see, hurry that day. So I sat down, but I didn't bring any stitching with me. So Karen, the owner, and Mary, who also works there, when this piece came in, they thought of me because they know that I like dragonflies, and she brought it out and showed it to me. I said, perfect. So I got the fabric and the floss, and I started it right there on the spot. That was a fun day. Unexpected. Rebel Stitcher Designs, Stonewall. This was done in honor of the Stonewall riots that occurred in New York, I believe 1969. Am I right? Yes, 1969. And I just thought it was a fabulous piece. This is on 32 count Diversity by Mystic Fabrics. I'm using the DMC that it was chartered in. My needle binder is Rebel Stitcher, and the project bag is Stitch and Button. So my project bag. And look how colorful that is. Look how incredibly colorful that is. I love it. The initials that she has in there are in honor of 3 activists. Just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You can see that I'm an eclectic stitcher. You will, yes, I have favorite designers, but I lost my chair. I'm going to be reaching over you, so get used to it. I brought up another chair, and knowing that I would need it, but I seem to have lost the one next to me, which is preferable to him trying to sleep here in the, what is this? Why do I have all this fabric in here? Oh, I reached into my holiday bin to pick out pieces that I work on for the year-end holidays. And I'm working on a series. This is the one that's done. I'll be home to Christmas Snail. Those of you who've been around for a long time will know that when I first started this piece, I confused the 2 patterns. I had intended to stitch on snail, but I was stitching, I wanted to stitch on tortoise, but I was following the chart for snail. You'll see why it's easy to do that. And so I had to restart, and in the process, when I realized what I had done, I tossed tortoise. Anyway, long story short. Oh, this was in the Christmas bin. Snail is finished. I haven't restarted tortoise yet. Okay. As you can see, my organization is, well, for this purpose, it looks confusing. I just grabbed some stuff that I didn't need to grab, that's all. This also came out of my holiday bin, and that's because I plan to start tortoise this year. I know there's not many days left, but I'll get there. What's this poor little start here? Why is this? Is that it? No, that's not it. That is it. Oh my God. This is Woodland Mist Santa by Creative Needle Arts. This is a piece that I bought many years ago. I started it July of 2025. I bought it at the Stitching Post in Catonsville, Maryland. Now the Stitching Post is right on the same road as the Baltimore Washington International Airport. So if you have a long layover at BWI, you can get from BWI down to the Stitching Post in like 10 minutes, Uber. And then you can go back to BWI. So if I had 3 hours at BWI, that's what I would do. Just go to the Stitching Post. This was a full kit. It's on, I'm using everything that was in the kit, 18 count platinum, and the floss is Presencia cotton floss. I love using different flosses. And is this my start? Why does that not look right? That doesn't look right at all. Where's the piece? See all of that? Shelia needs to do some work. Shelia needs to figure out what's going on here, because I know I have stitched on this because I have done a bunch of this, yeah, because EJ was teasing me. I did a lot of the toy sack and I was working on Santa's cat, and I have no idea what ornament that is in there. So we've got some, yeah. Oh, okay. No, this is the piece. Is that small? Yeah, so this is part of the hat, Santa's hat, and his toy sack, and that's his hand, I think, gloved hand at the bottom of the sack. I've been working off paper, evidently, and so I can see what I've colored in. Okay, I'm not losing it. It just looks very small, but it's what it is. So that's part of I do holiday stitching in May, July, and December, because I do about 11 ornaments every year for family and friends, plus other things that I like because I like them. Why is this here? What is this? Okay, so you and you go together. All right. Oh, this is something I haven't worked on in a very long time. Oh, this was started at the Spring Fling retreat in May or April this year. This is the Blue Flower Hearts Garden. It was a retreat project piece, and I don't think I've worked on it since. So this is something else that I need to pick up and try to get some more stitches in before the end of the year. And here's all the floss. Oh. And at the retreat, okay, let me get the picture, because you're going to need the picture in order to figure out what this is. I did an upper left-hand corner start, so you're looking at this little corner here. And that's where I am. It's going to be pretty on this fabric. Gorgeous. The floss is a mix. Well, I've got some cottage garden threads in there. Looks like some classic color works, some weeks. Yeah, I've got to pick this back up and work on it some more, because I really like the blue flower. And yeah, sometimes retreat pieces, like as you can tell, I'll start them at the retreat, work on them, I bring them home, I put them on the shelf, but I won't necessarily come back to them in a timely way. But I do find my way back periodically. This was a second retreat start at the same retreat, and they're both in the same bag. I'm gonna keep them in the same bag, because whenever I pick up the bag, I will work on both of them. Here's the floss. This is the two Red Houses sampler by Stacy Nash. So the Spring Fling, which is run by Anna Williamson, is a Florida retreat, and she usually has designers in, and this past year was Stacy Nash and the Blue Flower, Janette McGowan. So this is two Red Houses sampler. Now, again, if you've been watching us for a while, you know I'm not a real fan of houses, and I realize you've seen houses. You'll probably see more houses, but I'm not a big fan of them. But I do like this. It's got two houses, but I do like that. And this is how far, again, an upper left-hand corner start, and this is my start on it. Yeah, at the retreat. I believe this is a 36 count. So I've got to get this. This also needs, obviously, a little bit more, not a little bit, a ton, but I haven't prepped it. You know, made my little board, my show and tell board. As you notice, I have these little boards because there is no way in hell that I would remember the fabric or anything that I'm working on with a piece. When we make our videos, no. It's in this little bag, Stacy Nash. No way am I going to remember. So I make these, for every piece, I make a copy of the cover with the picture, and then on the back, I put all my information about the fabric, the floss, any other information, sometimes a start date. If I started it at a cross-stitch store that I was visiting, I put, you know, little tidbits like that. So please don't think that this is something that I remember, because no, do not remember. Mary Pet's sampler. This is another of my Black Girl samplers. Mary Pet's sampler, Baltimore, Maryland, 1831. This is Queenstown sampler design reproduction. Here's Mary Pet's. And if you look at Mary Pet's, you will see in the sky, there's like a couple of flocks of birds, except for this one little parrot sitting there in the middle there, all by himself, with all his little colors. And that great big duck, and a house. Now, Mary Pet's evidently really like these flocks of birds, because I counted them one day, and I think there were 35 little birds. I need to write that down. 35 little birds. Mary Pet's. This is on set. So when I got this chart, I contacted Kimberly Young, who's the owner of Sassy Jack Stitchery, and I sent her a copy of the chart and asked her to kit it for me. So she did. So it's on 30 count pecan shortbread, which is legacy linen, and it's Auvera soie and soie d'Alger. I've been working on Mary for a while because Mary has all those damn birds. I'm telling you, those birds are over one. Okay? Mary Pet's and her damn birds. But I've got most of them done. I'm closing in on the birds. I've come across the top with the border, and I've come down the side and turned the corner on the border in the bottom. The side border here is complete. I still have flower buds to add on the top border here, but the words are all over one. I've got a bunch of those little birds, and the birds are tone on tone, except for the parrot right there. So there are the birds. I'm in the trees. Next to the trees starts the house. Yeah. So I've been working on Mary Pet's for a while. I will be working on Mary Pet's for a while, but it's okay. It's all right. I like the 30 count. It's easy to work with. The over one isn't so bad on 30 count. And I don't mind over one stitching again. I learned how to do over one when I first learned to cross stitch. So when I first learned to cross stitch, I went to a festival, we called them at the time. And there were classes, and I took a class. This is like 3 weeks into learning cross stitch. I took a class, and it was just marvelous. It just, you know, it was a 3-hour class. They did the basics, and they immediately started to teach you specialty stitches, tips and techniques for over one. And so that's why I say, I just thought that's the way it is. I just thought that's what you do. I mean, it's cross stitch, so you do all the things. Lanarta Culture Division, African Lady with Flowers. I have finished a companion piece, African Lady with Vase. The chart and starter floss was gifted to me by Maria. And it's on the 14 count black. And I think Lanarta kits with DMC, I was able to successfully cross-reference the threads that she sent me with DMC. So I would have clearly enough. And yes, so again, here's the picture. There she is. And here I am. So I've come down. I have, I believe, finished the white in the dress. I believe. Yeah. The white in the dress. And if it wasn't on black, this would make a great travel piece. Because, I mean, it's, you know, I've got all this green in here. All of the color changes and everything are in the vase, her skin tones. But I'm going to start working on the green because I want to do a little bit of green, then come in, green, come in. So I'm not too, you know, I don't want to get bored with it. Basically, I just, you know, I mean, I can't, I'm sure it won't, but when you're faced with that much of the same color, it can be a little monotonous. No matter how much you love the piece, it will slow you down. It definitely slows me down. And we are doing very well, people, very well. I don't have too much of a disaster on the other side. My assistant is totally snoozing in his favorite chair that he never gets a chance to sleep in. Sometimes when EJ is here on Saturday, when she gets up from the chair, I would say sometimes she'll take 5 minutes. 5 minutes after she gets up from the chair, she'll come back to sit down and he's there. That's how much he loves that chair. Tiny Modernist, the Bee Queen. So I always thought this reminded me of Bridgerton, but oh, I can't remember her real name. Tiny Modernist. She participated in Midsummer Stitch this year, and she said no, she's never seen Bridgerton, so that wasn't it, but oh my God, she channeled it so well. This is Frozen Fractals Linen, Fabrics by Stephanie, and it's a 28 count Jobelin, and I'm using it was charted in DMC, so that's what I'm using, and this is where I am. So I've started working down her, the flowers on the left side, and I've come across and yeah, in her face. Yeah, she looks a little weird right now. She almost looks like E.T. So that's my progress on the Bee Queen. Again, this is, sorry, see if I can get this a little bit neater so you can see it. So this is the Bee Queen, and this is the Bee Queen. Yeah, you can see where I am. This is a beautiful piece. Just beautiful piece. So far, I haven't seen anything that I want to retire. That's always a question in the back of my mind as I do a WIP parade, because it's the only time of year that I actually see everything that I'm working on in a concise period of time. And it's an opportunity to me to make some decisions as to whether I'm going to finish something. So this is one of my oldest WIPs. You have seen this often this year because it was on my WIP Go board. It will be on my WIP Go board again. This is Rosewood Manor Seaside Sampler. And it's on a 32 count white opalescent. I'm sorry, a 36 count white opalescent. And I'm using the called for, what silk is this? Treenway silks. I am not a fan of the verse. I'm going to replace the verse with names of ships that I've cruised on. So I've got to chart those names. And this is where I am, the Seaside Sampler. I've got quite a bit. I could this finish into 2026? It's a possible finish in 2026, a strong possible, because it's 36 count and I'm using one thread, so I'll be able to move fairly quickly through the ship names. But it will be on the WIP Go board this year. And be a focus piece for this year. Okay. Robin Pickens Designs, Madress beanstalk. I'm stitching this with my friend Tricia. I just want to stitch. Robin Pickens cross stitch patterns, Madress beanstalk. It's on a 28 count ivy by Fiber on a Whim, and I'm using Cosmo floss. This was a market release last year, I think. Let's see, is there a copyright date? This year. It was a market release. I just loved, it was the colors. It was the colors. Ugh, okay, here we go. All right. I don't know if you can see that. Here, let's do this. There we go. Isn't that just gorgeous? Yeah, I was looking to make sure I had it right side up. Yes, absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The colors, the design, just beautiful. I started putting needle minders on my pieces because I have developed the habit of misplacing the needles while I'm working on them. So I said, duh, you've got like 1,000, not really, but you know what I mean, a ton of needle binders. Why aren't you using them? Shaded stitchery. This bag is by Snickerdoodle Stitch. Loved it. And this is Array #1. Again, I'm doing the color version here. This is on 32 count Vanilla Bean by R&R Reproduction. You can also tell who my favorite fabric dyers are. R&R pops up quite a bit. Legacy Linen pops up quite a bit. 32 count Vanilla Bean by R&R, and I'm using the DMC. I think it was charted in DMC. Yes, she charts in DMC a lot. She also charts in Roxy Flosco sometimes too. Okay. This is Array #1. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. I love stitching like graphic design. As you can tell, graphic design things. I'm not into, well, you see everything. Like I said, I'm very eclectic in my choices of stitching. I think if there was a trend, I would probably say I veer towards colorful pieces more often than not, but because I say I hate houses, and you know, you've seen quite a few houses. You don't see a lot of people. I traditionally have not stitched a lot of people, and it was only in recent years, after watching Mini Gray, Mini All X's, that it occurred to me that I could just change the skin tones. I was like, oh, wow. But I still don't stitch a lot of people, but when I do change the skin tone. Shaded Stitchery, grounded in, no, I'm sorry. Yes, Shaded Stitchery, grounded in chaos. Let me get you this one. Grounded in Chaos. I love this. This I started in May 2025, and I'm stitching this along with the 614 stitcher. Also on YouTube, you have to watch Candy. She's just fun to watch. And I love watching her stitching journey. Candy started her Flosstube not too long after she learned to cross stitch. She is a very skillful quilter. And so I really feel like I'm traveling with her on her cross stitch journey. And she's tackling new stuff, complaining about backstitch. Come on. But really, yeah, she's doing great. This is on 32 count Legacy Linen Mariner's Map. And it's, I'm sure it's DMC. Yes, it's DMC. Yeah, it's DMC. Well, it was charted in General Arts, and I guess when I started, I didn't have a lot of General Arts, so I have a mix of Victorian Model Sampler, some Weeks, General Arts, some Cottage Garden thread, and DMC. So there's a mix of everything in here. There we go. So this is Grounded in Chaos. These are affirmations to keep you centered and grounded amidst just a whole lot going on around you. And this really spoke to me when it came out, and I decided to do it in 28 count because I wanted to be able to read the words no matter where I am in the room, wherever I put this up. And this is, I'll read it to you quickly. I protect my peace. I listen to my intuition. I check in with myself. I am more than my thoughts. I know perfect doesn't exist. I give myself peace. I give myself grace. I will slow down. I feel all the feelings. I make mistakes. I just thought those were really great affirmations for well-being. Candy hosts Mental Health May, and this is a piece that really, I think, goes along with that 100%, which is why I started it in May of 2025 with Candy. It's a piece that speaks to me a lot, and there are times when I find that when I'm working on it, it is centering and grounding, just, you know, working with the words, the tone of it. Oops, sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Shaded Stitchery, My Necessity. This is gorgeous. This was done as a collaboration with Evertote and Roxy Flosco, My Necessity. And it's on, I didn't write it down on the back. I believe it's a Roxy Flosco fabric. It's definitely Roxy Flosco threads. Let me see if I made a note somewhere. They sold it as a kit, and I didn't write down the fabric. Oh, Shelia. Okay, anyway, I'm sure it's a Roxy Flosco fabric. I'm positive. I am positive. The bag is Evertote. But anyway, so this is what it looks like. Again, My Necessity. And here's where I am. So I have finished the inside down to the needle. I have to come back and work on the borders on both sides and then do the hand. And I want to do the borders before I do the hand. And what you see in here are these little cloud shapes that just provide a little texture to it. They're meant to be light, like clouds. Very nice. Well, they're in the shape of clouds. Okay, well, that's not going to work. Okay. Again, I just did a celebrated Nuri, who is Shaded Stitchery's birthday in October. And I collected all of her pieces and worked on them during that month, which is why you're seeing all of a sudden a big bunch of Shaded Stitchery. And again, as I put them back, I will spread them around a little bit so I get a little bit of variety, and I pick them up at different times. This one is one of my holiday pieces, actually. Tree Medley by Shaded Stitchery. I'm using 32 count Creek Bed Brown by R&R and Roxy Flosco Floss. This one is I'm going to set this aside. I'm not going to put it back in the bunch because this is definitely a 2025 finish. I just need about a couple of days, really. Yeah, I'm down to the last tree over here. See, the last tree. What I love about this piece, if you look at the border, you'll see that every color that's in the chart has a little bit in the border, and the amount of the color at any given time is changes, is different. So it just really pops around. And I love that. I love that. And I've said I'm gonna do that on pieces that I'm working on, because I don't like single stitch borders. So if I have a piece that I'm working on that has a single stitch border, I'm going to take every color in that chart and put a little bit in that border, like ends, and do it that way to break up, for me, which is monotony. I will not choose to stitch on a piece because it has a single stitch border. That's how much I dislike them. And I thought, oh, what a great way to not only break that up, but enhance the colors, help you appreciate the various colors in the piece, especially those that have a lot of shading. So you get a lot of colors, but you don't necessarily see them. So yeah, anyway. So I've got one tree left. This one is not done because I was gonna put beads in there. Now I'm rethinking the beads, and I might use French knots instead. And this cactus has, I have to add French knots in here, which are some of the more colorful, the colors, because it's like strung with Christmas lights. So, the cactus. Yes, really. This was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So different and so nice and colorful, and I really enjoyed working on that one. So tree medley, this will not go back in the pile, and this gorgeous bag, which I remember buying it at a retreat somewhere, or somebody gave it to me. I think somebody gave it to me. It's gorgeous. Oh, just gorgeous. Anyway, so you are not going to go back in the pile. I'm going to put you over there because you're going to get finished this year. This is another shaded stitchery. Freedom motif. Again, her colors, her symbolism, just amazing. 32 count, one more reproduction in Lugana by Be Stitch Me. The project bag is Layla P Creations, and it's DMC project bag. Layla P Creations. She's on Etsy, LAILAP Creations. Beautiful bags. She is an amazing, she comes from a family of multi-generational quilters, and so that's my start. I'm just, getting there. Getting there. Okay. I'm working on I'm working at the top. This is where I am. So I have some fill-ins to do it here yet to finish. I'm gonna work down the borders before I start in with the color. The other thing you'll notice, I use a lot, people tease me because my fabric collection, which is extensive, my fabric collection consists of every color of beige that a dyer or multiple dyers can come up with. I just think beiges are a fabulous background to the colors of the stitching. Okay, this piece, what is this? This is, oh, back in the day when I went to the cross stitch festivals, Liz Turner Deal was one of the designers that was very popular at the time. And this is in the 90s into the early 2000s. She did a series of gardens, and the idea was to imagine yourself walking into the beginning of this garden and then walking around. So this is the medieval herb garden, circa 1999. I started it in April 2024, and I have at least 3 more of these that I would love to work on. It came as a kit, and I'm sorry, EJ, I didn't even think about those. 28 count natural linen, and the floss is Moulinet Madeira, a European medieval herb garden. And I have it on scroll rods. I have to look at the picture. I'm working it from the top. I remember her suggesting you work it from the bottom, but I'm working it from the top. Yeah, so that's the top. So if you look at the top, you see here, little trellis and stuff. That's where I am. And this floss is really nice floss. It comes in packets like that. If you've ever, so you just pull from the bottom of the packet. I feel so lucky that my introduction into cross stitch accompanied these cross stitch festivals, because I was introduced to leading designers in the 90s and the early 2000s. I had the opportunity to take classes with them to learn specialty stitches and techniques from them. And again, not realizing that these things were supposed to be hard, difficult, challenging, yes, but certainly not something to avoid. I was just very lucky that the timing was such that, and I was living in the DC area again at that time. And every year there was one of these big festivals in Hershey, Pennsylvania, at the big convention center there, which was huge. And on Saturdays at these festivals, they would open it up to the public because they had a merchant mart. And these merchant marts, they had, I'll say 100 vendors of all things related to, supporting to, connected to, potentially useful for cross stitch. And everybody who is in the industry, wanting to be in the industry, was there. And on Saturdays, you could have 900 stitchers who would come in to the merchandise mart. It was amazing. As an attendee, we were able to go Friday I'm not sure if it was Thursday afternoon, or Thursday evening, but definitely Friday was an attendee only day. And that was very nice, but they were very well attended. But I drove, and I would come back home with my trunk filled with stuff. It was outrageous. But that's where I started my stash, my collecting. We're getting there, people. We're getting there. Alrighty, this is a collection. Somewhere in here, we haven't seen it yet. I will come up against it soon. They're not in here. Okay, let me put this aside because this is not the actual WIP. Okay. My last pile is the one that's the furthest away from me, towards the other end of the table. I'm a little hesitant to stand up and move it because I think I'll lose control of it. This is My Stitching Room by Needle Bling Designs. My original thought is, and I still will if I ever finish it. I sure will. It's so simple. Is to put this and hang it on the door of my stitching salon, which was a guest room, but I pulled down my winter vacation lodging sign and turned it into my stitching room. I started this at Minnesota. The big needlework store that was in Minnesota. Anyway, y'all are screaming it at me. They just closed last year. The owners retired. Well, the owners, I think, were ready to retire. They've been in business for like 40 years and plus. And Stitchville. I was at Stitchville. And the landlord also like quadrupled their rent. So and I started it at Stitchville. That's a shame to have gotten that small amount done. I really do need to, yeah. So, I mean, really. There is no excuse for not having more of that done. And what did I say this is on? I did write down the fabric. I don't know what fabric it's on. Stitchville, USA, June 23rd, 2023. And I started it there, so it was fully kitted there. And I may have even bought the project bag there too. Because that's, again, I'd like to fully kit a project when I visit a cross-stitch store. Yeah. Oh, look, I even have a Stitchville USA needle minder. Look at that. Ah. You've seen this one recently. This was a recent start. It is Nomenclature in Color Blue by Kathy Barrick. It's on 32 count mink by R&R Reproduction. It's a piece that I bought at Dying to Stitch. The reason I have so much R&R is because when I went to Dying to Stitch, I knew exactly what I was going to do, and that was to buy a truckload of fabric, which is exactly what I did. I traveled to the DC. My sister was so kind. She went down and we did like a 2-day fun trip. I went to Dying to Stitch and she had found a spa. So she spent the day at the spa and I spent the day at the cross stitch store. And yeah, when I traveled, I brought a larger suitcase than I needed because I knew I was going to go back with that suitcase full of fabric, and I did. So that's why you see so much R&R. And every time I go somewhere and I see R&R, I tend to buy it. So this is 32 count mink, purchased at Dying to Stitch. This is Kathy Barrick's piece, and Kathy Barrick and hello, Liz Matthews, were the guest designers at a spring fling in 2023. And as I mentioned, I recently started it. And blue is my favorite color. So that really spoke to me. So here are all the blues that are in it. There is an explanation about the different blues that I will talk about when I present it. Oops, folded a little bit too much. And that's my start. Now I did a dumb thing. I mentioned this in our video. When I put my numbers, my stitch numbers in my calculator, I typed in the wrong number. And I thought that I needed this whole piece of fabric, or I didn't need the whole thing, but the leftover was going to be such a small amount that I decided to start this in the middle. This was a middle start on a very, very large piece of fabric, which I don't need. So I'm disappointed with myself, but it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Okay, it's gonna be okay. Okay. Here, let's do this. Okay. I was afraid it was going to fall. The pile would topple into the chair, at which point two of us would have had a heart attack. This is hands-on design. This is a multi-piece project that I've been working on for a long time. There's lots of notes back here. Let's see if I can get this straight. This particular piece is on 32 count. I don't know what this fabric is. I'm using Floche in 815 and a Jenny Thompson flower thread in 460. The 460 flower thread, which is the green, I've used in the other pieces here, and I'm working on this mattress right there. So which is why I'm using Floche, because there wasn't enough flower thread to do the whole mattress. So I used the Floche 815, but I picked up the Jenny Thompson flower thread in green because I've used that in the other pieces. So that will help to bring it together, even though it's a different red. And so I'm working on the mattress. And there it is, right? Yeah, that's what I'm working on. There we go. Very pretty. I gotta say, I enjoy working with Floche. You use a single strand. One strand is equivalent to about 1.5 strands of the 6-strand DMC cotton floss. So it works very nicely. It comes in a good size skein. Let me see, I'm sure I've got the whole thing in here. For those of you who are not familiar with Floche, oh, I made a mess out of mine. I don't know. Past Shelia was not kind to future Shelia. I have no idea what was in the mind of past Shelia, because we know better than this. So I've made a mess of this. Please don't take this as any indication of what the experience looks like, because I have no idea what I did. None. I know better than this. You don't have to write me, I know. But floss comes in a nice skein, so you've got plenty of floss. No idea what I did. And this is the green flower thread. Flower thread is also worked as a single strand. It's not quite as thick as the floss, but it works very nice as a companion thread with it. And the project bag was from a Spring Fling. I love this bag. This is a Rosewood Manor that will be retired. However, retired meaning so now we can talk about how to properly use floss, work with floss. I decided to do this one completely in floss. So I was working from the floss I had on hand, and that was a mistake because the colors are not working well together. So when you work floss, I showed you, it comes in the skein, right? And what you do is you clip one end of the skein so that you get this one great big long piece. And you can clip that again and get very nice lengths to work on. I usually, then as you notice, I braid it to kind of keep it nice and neat. And it just makes it easier to work with. So I have all of these floss braids, but I'm not happy with the way the color. See, this all cut and all braided, and I can untie the knot at the top and just pull out a single thread when I'm getting to work on it. And it's the correct length for me for stitching with one thread. And sometimes I still put this on a ring, but I had so much floss, the ring would have been big and would have been cumbersome. So it was easier for me to just braid them up and keep them in a plastic bag. This is on, I don't know, driftwood. 32 count driftwood, and I'm using the floss as a conversion from the stitched piece. So this is what it looks like: Corners and Curves by Rosewood Manor. And I'm not happy about the colors that I am working with. I love the chart. Again, it appeals to that graphical side that I enjoy. But my colors, again, for my taste, aren't playing well together. So I'm going to square it off and retire it. And I'm going to put the chart in my library for when I'm looking for little bits and elements. So there you are. The blues, the medium blue and the light blue, I think are working very well together. That dark blue, I think, is too dark. The green is way too light, and the yellow is bright. So yeah, I totally failed there, but I'm going to finish this little bit, again, square it off, and call it a day. But the chart will go into my reference library. Okay, this is Women of Honor, which is Rebel Stitcher Designs. She did this piece to commemorate women who who she feels have made significant impact to humankind. This is on 36 count vintage beeswax, again in R&R. And I originally purchased a piece much bigger than what she did because I knew I was going to be adding names to it. I started this in September 2022. And it's on a scroll rod, so it's been sitting down here for a bit. And, okay, let's unroll. Okay. So this is Women of Honor. And I will roll it up. You can see I have, I've changed some of the names. I've added to the names to include historical figures who I think made significant contributions to humankind. I'm also recognizing my mother, my sister, and a couple of cousins. So this is my mother, Cleopatra McCann was my mother. You don't call her Cleo. She was not called Cleo. She was Cleopatra. Her sisters did call her Cleo, but nobody else did. I included, I added Minnie Gray. I kept Rosa Parks. I put in my sister, and I added the 688, which was a Army battalion in World War II of Black women who were in Europe and were given the daunting task that many had failed at prior to them of distributing mail that had been sent to soldiers fighting the war overseas in Europe, where so much mail came in. They did not have a distribution system. Soldiers moved around everywhere. They couldn't keep track of where they were, and the Army decided that, well, we'll throw these women there and we'll see what they can do. And they gave them then what looked like an impossible task to do in a very short period of time. They were set up to fail, completely set up to fail. And these women went in with a mindset that said, we will make this happen. This will be done. And they did. And they did. And I saw the movie that was done by Tyler Perry, and I was so moved that I wanted to just make reference to that group of women in this piece. I've got Harriet Tubman, Kamala Harris, Madam C.J. Walker, who is the first Black woman millionaire, and Henrietta Lacks, whose cells, she had cancer, and her cells have been used extensively in cancer research, and her cells were originally harvested without her permission and used in research without her permission. Her cells were the foundation for many treatments and cures in cancer that we use today. And because of what was done to her, absolutely no compensation. There have been laws passed that require permission before your body, your cells, or anything about you can be used in research. So I wanted to commemorate Henrietta Lacks as well. So that piece is very meaningful to me. I may finish that this year, 2026. I make it a point to bring it out fairly often. It will not be on WIPGO this year. I don't have space on it for WIPGO, but it will be out next year. This is Antonia Rosselle y Garcia, 1886. This is by Jan Hicks Creates. This is on 36 count Affogato by Fiber on a Whim, which happens to be what the model was stitched on. And I'm stitching this with Vicki Clayton silk. And here we are. There she is. Antonia Rosselle y Garcia. There it is. This is Medicare enrollment season, and my phone just does not stop ringing. It's so annoying. So that was Antonia Rosselle y Garcia, Jan Hicks Creates. I'm enjoying that. That's a lot of fun. It's a lot of letters, which is good. I'm enjoying working with the Vicki Clayton silks. I wanted to work with Vicki Clayton silks. I've heard a lot about them, and they definitely live up to expectation. This is a project bag I made. I didn't put any stuff in it, so it's a little on the flimsy side. But it'll be great for scroll bars, even though the piece I'm working on is not currently on a scroll rod. This is DD Designs, which is Dinky Dyes Designs. S is for spring. This is on 28 count natural linen. And I'm using a DMC Blanc. And the colors are Dinky Dyes. This was actually stitched with Dinky Dyes parchment. I mean, it makes sense. It's a Dinky Dyes design. But I have a cone of DMC Blanc, so DMC Blanc won the day. And this is another one that I'm making a lot of progress on, slowly but surely. And here it is. Now I did this, I'm using the 6-strand DMC because I wanted to work on my white stitches. Sometimes I'll do that, I'll pick a piece because there's some aspect of it, an element of it that I really want to work on. And so this is a piece where I'm working on my white stitches, and I'm glad I'm doing it. I'm glad, because I was saying this to EJ, people complain about how their white stitches look. If you work on it and you work on your technique to improve how they look, it only improves your stitching overall. So you can see where the color is, where the Dinky Dyes is, and the rest of it is in white. Is there any more color in it? There's one little bit of color down here in the corner, right there. Yeah, right down there is a little bit of color, but I think, oh yeah, down here with the big S, there's another bit of color. So yeah. And again, this is where I am. So I'm a happy camper. So, after the ABC, there are these elements in here. There's a bird, a cat, a flower, some flowers that goes in that empty space. And I think I'll work on that so I can focus down below. But I've worked down to here. So I've got all of that left to do. All righty, we're getting there. I hope you're still hanging in there. But this is, thank goodness I only do this once a year, because now I got to pull all this back. But I have some organizing. I want to rework a little bit my notions, so it's going to take me a while to put everything back, because in my notions I have one field right now where I put the information about my fabric choice, and it's all like count, dyer, and then color, but I want them in separate fields. I want a field called fabric count, and a field for fabric dyer, and a field for fabric color. Yeah, well. This is from the January Cross Stitch at Sea that EJ and I co-hosted with Jean Farish and Michelle Bindi Stitchy. This was Jean Farish's cruise project called 3 Parrots and a Whale. And it came fully kitted, and it's on legacy linen, 30 count. What does that say? Swan feather. Swan feather is the color. And I've actually come back to this a couple of times, I think, or at least once since the cruise. So I'm working across the top. I've come down the side border, again, single stitch border, which is probably why I haven't gotten too much done, because, you know, I hit that single stitch border thing that I have. And this single stitch border goes around the entire thing. So I think what I'm going to do is pull out different colors from the piece and put that in the border to help break it up a little bit, make it a little bit more interesting for me. But I want to do the border before I get into the inside, or maybe I don't know. Anyway, I also have the Bindi Stitchy project in here. And this is going to be fun. I'm really looking, I've seen it finished. Some of the stitchers have already finished it, and it's very pretty, very, very pretty. Flosstube at sea, not cross stitches, Flosstube at sea. If you ever have a chance to do one of those cruises with Jean Farish, do so. If you're a stitcher and you enjoy cruising, it's a lot of fun. She cruises January, so if you're in a colder climate, spending a week in the Caribbean is fun. She always tries to do an excursion that stitchers might be interested in. Sorry. Okay. As I mentioned, I have both projects in the same bag. Okay, here we go. Why is this? Did I do 2 of these? I think I did. That's probably confusion. I have 2 of these. This is Bindi Stitchy, Michelle Bindi Stitchy. This was her class project. And this net here that the mermaid is tossing, she taught how to attach that net. This is 32 count Nereides Lugana by Mislaid Pages, or Nereides. And the floss is a stitchy box silk called Helibor. And this piece shows more progress because it's a smaller piece. There we go. So I have, here's a bigger picture. I have, am I showing that right side? Yes. So this is where I am. So this is fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. It's fun. I can't wait till I get to the point where I do the netting. And one of the stitchers, when she was ashore, she bought a bag of seashells. And so everybody just grabbed some seashells. So I'm gonna put seashells inside of my net. So my mermaid is actually capturing seashells, which is pretty cool. All right. Okay. He's still there. Told you, he's in his favorite chair. Heartstring Samplery Grounding Force. This was purchased and kitted this past June when we visited Hobby House Needleworks. I'm not doing it on the black. What I love about this piece is the saying cross stitch is my grounding force. I believe it's on a 20 count, and I believe it is Cedar River Overcast. And this is an Evertoad project bag. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's the wrong one. It's in one of these project bags. And here's my progress. So I'm working the border. I've come across the top and down the sides with the green vine. And next time I pick it up, I'll start working on the flowers or strawberries, whichever one. EJ is convinced that these are beets. I don't see it. So, you know, what can you say? They're not beets. So there we go. We have grounding force. And again, that's a saying that really speaks to me. Cross stitch is my grounding force. When I was working, when I was working and I'd come home and I worked fairly stressful jobs because I always did project management. So you have timelines and delays, people not doing what they're supposed to do, and or trying to start a new project and gathering people to participate and collaborate in the project. So there was a lot of stress. I worked with a lot of stress for many, many, many years. And so cross stitch for me was that thing that if I had a particularly bad day, if I came home and sat down and did 20 stitches, it was very calming and very soothing. And Friday nights in particular, I would come home and pull out and just sit and just stitch and just, you know, get right with the world. And then I retired and it became my full-time hobby. Modern Folk Embroidery in Friendship. This is on 28 count speculoos by Roxy Floss Co. And the threads are Royale by Roxy Floss Co. This I started at Jacob Palooza in October 23. I attended weekend 2. This was in London, Ontario, Canada. One of the best stitching weekends I've had. It was wonderful. It was just wonderful. I can see where Jacob signed it. Yes. So I've seen this finished. Many people have finished it. But Shelia, of course, is working at her own pace. So I will eventually get there. But I love a good Quaker. And that's what this is. So here I am. I'm getting there. I'm working on it. Yay. So that is In Friendship, Modern Folk Embroidery. This is a Roxy Evertogue bag. Okay. Oh, let's do this. Oh, okay. So remember before I picked up a big bag and had a bunch of stuff, and I said, no, no, no. So it's a series, and this is the only one of the series that I'm currently working on. A little piece of floss. This is Keslin's Border Series 1, and I believe there are 4 of them. Each one consists of 4 blocks. This is all the same color floss arranged in different ways, and it really, it's amazing how you can take the same colors, redistribute them, and you get such a different look. This is 40 count Zweigart flax, and I'm using a combination of silks. All of these will be done in silks. And this one is Silks for You, Planet Earth, and Gloriana. I have a pretty good silk collection. I was in the Silks for You club for a long time, and I bought it. So this is the first box, and I've done the outer border, and how many borders have I done? 1, 2. I've done 2 borders. I don't think I finished it yet. No, I can tell by the colors. I'm still got some work to do at the bottom. But this one has, so you can see you've got the border here, then you got this inside border, and then you come in. So I'm just way up here still, but coming around. And here are my colors for this series number 1. Yeah, so there's a nice silks, nice colors. Keslin's Border Series. As I said, there's 4 of them. I was going to show you the pictures, but now it's buried under a big stack. Rosewood Manor Oh Feathers. This is fun. This one is on a 32 count? Yeah, 32 count antique white. And again, this is one where I thought using the white fabric just really helped bring out the colors. He looks a little, yeah, demonic. My peacock looks a little demonic. Oh Feathers. This is 32 count antique white Zweigart, and I'm using the called for sulky threads. So it's the 1 thread over 2 fabric threads. So this one's had given me a little trouble, but I'm getting there. And the inside of this, she originally charted in different colors, but I have a variegated sulky that I'm using that is just perfect, working out perfectly there. So I'm very happy with that. In fact, yeah, here's a little bit of it right here. You can see a little bit. And the color change happens, and for most of these, the color doesn't change in the middle of a square, and that's fine. And I don't mind if it does change in the middle of a square. I think it makes it interesting. So, all sulky threads. I like sulky. You can buy sulky, and you can buy like like a container, like it opens up like this, a plastic thing, and with all the silky threads. You can get the entire collection of silky threads. It's not that expensive, relatively speaking. And I think there are 3 of those containers, and you get, I don't know how many different spools in a single container. Currents and tides. I've been waiting for this one to come up because last time I worked on it, I didn't put my floss sheet in, and so I've been waiting, of course it'll be one of the last ones, to come up with it. So Currents and Tides was bought and kitted at Barefoot Needle Arts in South Carolina. And this is a design by Barefoot Needle Art. This is on 32 count sand dollar linen, which was dyed by Barefoot Needle Art. And I have some substitution. So this was started in June of 2024 after I visited there. You go there. Now this one, I unfortunately misread the color code for the border. So you'll see the border is kind of a blue-green here. This is kind of a blue-green. Well, my border, at least the top of my border, is a bright yellow because for some reason I misread the symbol and didn't realize it until I had done the whole border. But then I decided that's because the sun is shining at the beach. There you go. I made that work. So that's my start, with the sun shining at the beach. But I think I'm going to do the rest of the border in, although I did come down a little bit, I think I'll do one square down, and then I'll do the rest of the border in the, as charted, to match the water, the blue-green of the water. So if you're ever in South Carolina, definitely on the beach, right at the beach, go to Barefoot Needle, gorgeous store, beautiful store, incredibly well done. And they also host retreats a couple of times a year. They do a cruise out of Port Everglades as well. Oh, here's my pen. Oh. And this bag I also bought at Barefoot Needle Art. Again, I customarily try to fully kit something, including a project bag. This is GH 1857. This is Simone de Jean van Wissen, Atelier Sud Idée, 32 count Lakeside linen in buttercream. And this is in the called for over dye. And I started this in September 2022. I am working on the full sampler, but I will also be doing all the little pieces. So it's a big piece of fabric. I did not cut it. I probably should, because I don't like working with huge pieces of fabric unnecessarily. But look at that. Look at that. Is that not? Look at that. That is beautiful. That is gorgeous. GH 1857. I really do need to cut that fabric down. That's way too much. I know I get on EJ about that all the time. I need to do what I say. One of my favorites, this one's been around for a while, but it didn't come up as an oldie but goodie. Well, you know what's not here is wash day. How did I miss wash day? I didn't bring that out for you to see. I'll show you when I bring it out again to work on, you'll see wash day. I'm not gonna get up and go get it because it's too much. This is Rosewood Manor, Turkish Delight. I saw this at Galleria. Her room is one of the most spectacular rooms at Galleria every year. She brings out all her models, and she is a prolific designer, very creative, just amazing. But I didn't like the red fabric because I think it hides some of what makes this such a great piece. And this is mine is on 32 count Ancient by Picture This Plus. I bought the thread pack also when I was at Needlework Galleria, and this was 2019. So this is Picture This Plus Ancient, 32 count. Yeah. So I've come across the top. So the first 2 rows are done. The next time I pick it up, I'm gonna come across this 3rd row, which are letters. And then I'll be fully into the design aspect of it. So this is one of my favorite pieces, I have to say. It is one of my favorite pieces. I don't work on it often, but whenever I do pick it out to work on, I just smile when I pick it up. And it's in this project bag because I thought the colors fit so well with it. There's this huge stack over here. It says I can't go that way. Still there, curled up asleep, which is far better than him trying to supervise everything. What is this? Oh, this. I do have a picture to show you. So Jacob Modern Folk Embroidery does a SAL every year. I tried one year and they're too big and too intense for my taste. But this particular year, this was 2023, I liked the center motifs the best. So I've decided that I'm going to stitch the center motifs, and I'm stitching them a CC, which means that I'm stitching the parts that you see in white. I am using a combination of floss, some Roxy floss, there's some sulky, I think the brown the brown is sulky, and all the blues are Roxy Flossco for this particular tree. And I will be doing all the trees. And this is on 32 count lilac. I don't know if this is Picture This Plus or if it's a Zweigart. But here I am so far. I mean, as you can see, it's not big, but I'm getting there. It's not hard stitching in the negative, stitching a CC. I just have to remember that I'm stitching the white and not the blue background. So, yeah. So that is alternative tree number 2. That year, he did such a wonderful thing. With his SAL, he offered multiple alternative elements that you could do to make it your own. I mean, there was an alternative, I think, for every major part of the chart, but I really liked the trees, and because it proved to be too much. Yeah. I've tried the different SALs and have not done well at them. This year's Put a Bird on It worked for me because it was the first time I think the monthly segments were in amounts that were comfortable for me and that were doable. That's not gonna stay there. Put you up there. All right, who do we have here? Something Blue, Rosewood Manor. Again, this is 32 count Earth and Sky by Mountain Air. And I'm using DMC Blanc. And this was a restart. I restarted this in 2021. And this is on my list of oldies and will be on my WIP Go this year because I really want to make some progress on it. I've done pretty good. So I've done down to the ABC, so I'm kind of like in here a little bit. But it's kind of slow going because it's intense. So there you have Something Blue. Yeah. I was able to match the model fabric pretty well. Mine's darker, but I like it with the white. And again, it's the opportunity to really perfect my white stitches. And this is a 32 count, so I am stitching 2 over 2. It's in this nice big project bag, so I got the whole Q-snap in there, so that worked out really well. Let me put you down here. Okay, what do we got? We're down to the last 4. Well-rounded. This is another series. This is a collaboration between Ink Circles. Wait, or is it all hands-on design? No, this is all, I keep thinking it's a collaboration. It's not. It's hands-on design, part of her well-rounded series, where each of these, so there's 3, large, medium, and small, and each one represents a season. None of them are big. None of them should be taking as long as it's taking me. It's taking me entirely too long. But these are things that I really like to do. I am working on, and I decided to put them on a, what am I working on? I'm working on, what does that say? Wishes. Which one's it? I'm working on this season here, because that says wishes. So I can show you what I've done so far. Oh, I'm working up from the bottom? Okay. Okay. So, a winter. I'm working on wishes, which is the one in the middle. Here. One in the middle. And I have worked on, hold on, it was a little more taut than I like to leave it. I don't know why I did that. Which means the bottom one is done. The larger one, that's the medium size, and then I'll have the small. All of them are going to be worked on like this. They'll be cut. It'll be cut into individuals, but to me, it was easier since I'm working them all on the same color fabric. I just have the one length where I can get all 3 of them on. And so this is the bottom one on this one is that one. this a little bit together so it's not quite so hanging out there. Okay, but I'm not going to. Take your time while I get it all together, because it was too tight to begin with. Oh, there we go. That made it a lot easier. And I've got this nice big bag that it's in. Oops. And here are all the other pieces, all of the fabric cut in to go on the roller frame. Go down like that. Another year creeps by. I've been working on this since 2018. And it is also on my list. It was on my, it's not, but it certainly should be. It will also go on my WIP Go this year. Huh. Sorry. Okay. This is ink circles. These were originally an exclusive to Stitchy Box. And you got one every month with the chart. You got the chart every month. And I'm doing it on 18 count. I'm using Silk Weaver Stone Gray. And I'm putting them all on one piece of fabric. I don't know why that is in there. So this is another year creeps by. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So I'm halfway through the year. I'm doing them in the order that Stitchy Box released them. So there we have another year creeps by. This is fun. They don't take long. I've struggled with this fabric in that it's 18 count. Typically something that is a 36 count, I use 1 strand of floss, but this Ada has challenged me a little bit. So there are parts of it that are 1 strand and parts that are 2. Yeah. But I think most of it is going to wind up being 1 strand. Put you there. This is Letters from Mom. Yes, Letters from Mom. Janette Douglas. This was originally released as separate charts. My understanding of the story is that when her daughter went to college, she sent her one of these every month with positive sayings and, you know, stuff. And I'm doing them all on 1 piece of fabric. This was a restart at some point. This is a 36 count Lakeside linen in Flagstone, and I'm using all the call for floss, which is significant. One summer, visited a couple of cross-stitch stores. In anticipation of that, I created a big spreadsheet that had called for overdyes for several projects. And as I visited the stores, because I think it was a summer when we were having trouble getting overdyes for some reason. So as I visited the stores, I bought the overdyes for this. So I am on May, and I'm changing some of the sayings on it. Hers were sweet. But, you know, some of mine might be a little snarky by the time I'm done. But most of them are positive. So this is a mix of some that she has done and some that I have done. Now, one of the things about this was my introduction to cottage garden threads, because I saw where she was including all of the borders on these are cottage garden threads, and these are a mix of full crosses and specialty stitches, black work type stitches. And all the borders are cottage garden threads. So I saw that. So I got the list of floss. Let me just show you the list of floss real quick. And you'll see why. I made it a summer project, but it may not be that quick. I seem not to be able to put my hands on the full list. But the list is extensive. I actually emailed and contacted Cottage Garden Threads in Australia and ordered all of the cottage garden threads for the piece. And then as I received the individual charts, I saw where Janette Douglas had included strands of cottage garden thread for that, because you don't need a whole skein. You just need, you know, a couple of lengths or so to do what's in the piece. And she includes, you know, you get more than enough. You really do get more than enough. Now, I mentioned this was a restart. I originally started in the center because she did a box so that you could put the individual pieces in the box. So I had started because the box top was like in the center and you put the postcards around it. But I wasn't enjoying it, and working on this large piece of fabric in the center was no fun, and so it sat for a while. Then I decided to restart it, and yeah. So in fact, the last time I worked on it, I frogged what I had started. So this is actually the first time you've actually seen the whole piece of fabric without some kind of weird stitching in the middle of it. But I'm getting down to that section where that centerpiece will go. Now her centerpiece, so this is the piece that I'm working on. This is May. And I changed the wording. She's love gains. And this one, oh yeah, this is the one where I wanted to put laugh it off, but when I charted laugh it off, I left off the second F of off. And it wasn't until I had stitched it, and I kept looking at it and said, why does that look weird? And then I realized it's because I didn't have the second F, so I found a way to squeeze it in. And then I thought it was kind of perfect for something that says laugh it off, because yeah, I had to laugh it off. You know, it's three letters in the word, two of which are repeated, and I didn't chart it correctly. You gotta laugh it off. And of course you don't see it until after it's stitched, you know, so. Laugh it off, laugh it off, laugh it off. So this, if you're doing it on one piece, that's the way it looks, where the top part is here and here are all the different months around it. That's the format that I'm using. And I bet you in this bag, yes. This is the back of one. So that's the full list of floss. And over a summer, I accumulated all that floss, including the entire set of cottage garden threads, which it turns out she gave you with each chart. And, but you know what? That means that I just have floss. Got floss for days. But it started me on my collection, which is now extensive, of cottage garden threads. I enjoy working with them. They do a beautiful dye job. I love their names. I love the colors. This is Seeds of Freedom, which is another collection. This is the last one. This is another collection. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, this is, I'm working on the book here. And I did one of a little piece. This is, I think, a fob is done. There's many pieces to this. There's lots. Oh, here we go. I don't know why it's stuck. This I've done. Okay, that's what that is. And here is the book. So this is the binding, the back of the book. Yeah. Okay. So that's a piece, and it's on a 36 count. I don't know what it's on. 36 count. But this is another one of those that I just plug away on. I pick it up, I work on it periodically. I enjoy it, and then it goes back. It's just one of those. When I get there, I have the whole thing kitted. So this was given to me by my friend Holly. Alrighty, so folks, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I got to put all this back. But thank you so much. I'm sure this is going to be a multi-part experience for you because we're hitting almost 3 hours. I've enjoyed it. It was good to go through everything. As I mentioned, there's at least one wash day and maybe a couple of others that I missed, but you've seen a lot. I've said it all. So no matter where you are, enjoy your stitching. Bye.